Hi, and welcome to A Punk with Toys. My name is Lawrence, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Delta 17's Weapons Pack WP-1A. Now, all these weapons are weapons that they already have that have already come out. So just kind of like the original G.I. Joe stuff, they're all the exact same things that we've already had. Let's be honest, we can never have too many weapons, but we're going to take a look at these. But rather than just put them on Delta 17 figures because they're all the exact same ones, we're going to put them on some other figures and we're going to see how they look, all right? So I have a whole bunch of different mix and match 1/18 scale figures there. This way you can see if, like, hey, is this a pack that you want to go over there, pick up, and see how they fit, okay? In all honesty, really, the only one that I see that's different is they put a little bit of paint on one of the, I think it's an AK model. So we're going to open this up, pop them on these. I think these things are $7 on their website, and I will drop a link to their website down in the description below. But anyway, you'll be able to see if this is something that you want to arm your 1/18 figures with, and we'll see if they work with modern figures. We'll see if they work with the original G.I. Joes, and we'll see if they work with modern O-ring too. So anyway, let's get to it. But before we do, please, if you like this type of content, you like the Delta 17 that I'm giving you, please take a second, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop Delta 17. Alright, so here we are. I'm going to look at all the weapons first, and then we'll try them on some of these figures. So we got this nice sniper rifle. Alright, it's got a movable bipod. Alright, so you got the big scope. You got the nice stock right there. Grip, no trigger finger, or no trigger guard, because let's be honest, you don't need it. You got the magazine. None of the stuff does drop off, and drop out, and there are no ports for blast effects. Again, these are much smaller, 1/18 scale. But you can look at the detail. I think that's really good. So let's say you got someone like low light, maybe even extra low light, or you just want to change up his weapon, with your original one. Here you go. We have this M4 platform with a 203. It's got the nice magazine right there. Again, no trigger guard with the grip, and that's perfectly fine because very few figures have, in this scale, trigger fingers. These guys actually do. But there's your grenade launcher on it. You got your barrel, what I think is a laser scope right there. You got your scope up there, iron sight. Again, nice looking weapon. We have this. I do not know what this is. I don't believe it's an M4 platform, but I could be completely wrong. Again, nice looking big magazine right there. I hate these grips on action figures. Not so much on the not so much on this scale, but 1/12 I absolutely hate because it's hard to get their hands to grip it properly. Again, everything here, it is a nice looking weapon. These are not 3D printed. These are mold injected. Alright, here's an M4 platform. I believe this is a double magazine. No, actually something plugs in. I don't think anything plugs into that, but it sure looks like it is. It might plug into his back somewhere. The actual figure, I don't remember. But we're looking at the guns. So you got like your double scope right here, so you can enhance it. One of these is supposed to flip to the side, I believe. Nice barrel. Again, no trigger guard as it shouldn't be, but grip, and you can see this is supposed to be a removable, or not removable, but a collapsible stock. Here you have your pump action shotgun. Alright. It looks real nice. It's got the foregrip right there. So, and then we have your SCAR. Oops. Here's your SCAR. It's got the foregrip magazine right there. Different looking barrel, your scope, and then the big ugly stock. I'm not a fan of the way the SCAR looks, to be 100% honest. And then we get this little AR platform. Now, this is the only one that I believe that they changed. It has a little bit of red on it. It's got the drum magazine, which I think is awesome looking. And when I saw this, there's a couple figures I was like, wow, I may just need to see if that fits. Then we get the stuff with the Okami. So the Okami has two different swords. So basically, if you lose anything, you can replace them, but also you can obviously use it with other stuff. So here's the Okami right here. It's the sword. I brought Snake Eyes so we can test it on here. Here's the Okami gun. All right. It can be popped into someone's hand. You get the magazine, but it also can be plugged into the Okami because they're like androids or robots. All right. And then you have their swords that can be put onto their hands. All right. So if you lose this, now these are the ones you might be like, those are absolutely useless. I mean, maybe the gun's okay, but what do I need that for? And that is, let's take a look at this bat here. All right. So we all know what the bat has. Is I'm missing his flamethrower, but the bat's hands do come off, right? So let's say you have one that isn't complete or multiple, and you're like, hey, do these things fit here? Well, they fit absolutely perfect. All right. So here you go. You have this wonderful looking sword on him. Maybe you have an extra backpack and you're missing stuff. Well, you can kind of arm him up so he's a different style of bat. I know I have a few that aren't complete. And then you have this here. All right. And this is going to plug directly into here. And even though this is like the laser gun, this is an actual submachine gun right there. All right. So as you can see, it fits perfectly fine right there. Let's see, backpack came off. But I can also take this, plug it directly into it. A little high, but really no big deal. I'm not sure if I can plug this in here, only because it has some guards on it. Well, I guess you turn it to the side, and you can plug that in just like that. All right? Jeez. But one of the biggest questions is, can you actually use it in their hands? And you can. Now, it's actually kind of loose. It's kind of weird because a lot of these newer weapons, they look like they have big grips and they don't. So you can actually put it in his hand if you just want to have him walking around shooting it. I know a lot of people don't like them having different weapons on their hands, but there you go. That thing fits in there perfectly fine. And this thing is made not only for the Okami, but if you want it with one of your bats, it's actually perfect to arm him with. So we know that one works. I'm going to grab these red shadow figures. I've never had any of the Palatoy, and thank you to Stephen Kelly from Joe Fest, who was trying to get me to start buying some some Palatoy Action Force. And these are 5 POA. They're from the early 80s. And when I saw these guys, I was like, all right, well, you know what? I don't have weapons for them. I believe this guy is supposed to come with the AK. One of them comes with an AK. And I thought, wow, this actually fits perfect because look at the red on it. And even though this is kind of worn, it fits him absolutely perfect. So you can believe that one of these guys will be rocking one of these guns. I'll have to look into it. Not that it really matters because it's not the real one. But one of them does come with the AK-47 that came with the Cobra officer. But look at his hand. His hand is really weird, all right? Not the greatest hands, all right? But it can hold it. These are really based off the idea of what Star Wars figures were, all right? Well, I guess both their hands are the same. I've never really looked at these till now. But the red kind of matches. I think it works pretty good. All right. Just kind of throw these guys right back here. And I know what, the big weapons that people I think are going to be thinking about are these big weapons and how they fit on the actual G.I. Joe. So I grabbed one of my shipwrecks, the one that's in the best condition. Take this off, and let's try and let's take Polly off so he doesn't break. And we'll throw on this M4 and see if it fits. So again, anytime you're working with one of your original O-rings, do not try and force anything in. If it does not fit, don't try. So that thing fits perfectly fine. All right. So these things will fit most of your G.I. Joes. I would say. So that fits perfectly fine on him. Let's grab this AR platform. It's actually kind of loose. Now it does have the foregrip. Now if you watched any of my other Delta 17 videos or anything with any type of modern 4-inch that is not Hasbro or Super 7, you know what I talk about. And you see up here, you can't really grab the foregrip because the wrists don't articulate. Unlike, let's say, the Steel Battalion, whereas you can twist it so you can actually make it look like he's posing. There is no way in hell I'm going to force that into there. So, I mean, I think this works. Their weapons seem to hold in their hand really well, so I have no problems with that. But let's take a look at this guy here, all right? And now this is a heavy armor. I found these at Joe Fest. That he did a Kickstarter. There's ketchup, mustard, and relish for the deck crew of my flag. But we're going to take this here. Now, these guys actually have trigger fingers. They're the only modern O-ring that I know that has that. But if I twist the wrist, you can see how easily that goes in there. So these actually look pretty good on these figures. They have a lot of different types of figures. But some pretty boring weapons, to be honest, and I think these will enhance these figures a lot, especially the Navy SEAL that I have, and the couple of CBs that I have. They just have like plain Jane M4s, I believe. So here's another one. All right, and we can twist the wrist, and you can see they fit really well and they look pretty good. All right. Now let's see. We got this guy, Quick Kick. He's always been useless. But let's take the Okami sword. Let's see how well they actually fit. Can I fit him? Can I fit it in his hand, or is it going to be an issue? Well, that thing drops in really nicely. So if you want to finally arm him with something a little bit better, hell, let's see. It may even fit in his backpack. Here's the second one. That thing slides in perfectly fine. Look at that. It bends it a little bit because this thing is kind of bent. But you can actually slide it in his backpack. And comparing it to the G.I. Joe one, well, the G.I. Joe one's actually a little bit longer, but doesn't have the handle that's nearly as long. So I think that looks pretty damn good, to be honest. He'll probably hold that while I let this one kind of sit there and warp. I'll turn it the other way so we can kind of get the bend back. Oh, maybe not. All right. There you go, Quick Kick. Finally gave you some compliments. Screw you. All right. Skeletron. I know everyone loves these figures. You know why? Because they're awesome. All right. So let's take it out. Modern 4-inch. All right, now this guy is the exact same as Call Sign Longbow. They're using a lot of the same parts. So if you have Call Sign Longbow and you're wondering how well they fit, well, you're gonna find out right now. So you'll throw this right up here. You can reach forward. Oops. So you can reach forward. I think it looks pretty good. It works really well, and again, I actually like this because I think this kind of fits this this trooper. I think he might be rocking this. I'm not a huge fan of their sci-fi weapons, all right, but I think this one looks really good on him. Let's throw a different weapon on him. You can throw this right here. Now his hands are a little big. And again, we can kind of close these a little bit because of their construction. So there you go. But I know what you guys are wondering. It's, hey, you had these figures up here, the modern 4-inch. How do they fit? Well, we know a lot of these Joes, they don't have. Some don't have weapons. Some only have like a bazooka here to rock. Let's try bazooka. And we'll take this little platform here. I will say this, a little loose, and that may be because of what he's he's been holding the bazooka for as long as he has. I'm not sure, but looking at this, they actually fit and look really good. They're scaled nicely to them. All right, they're not just scaled. Again, 4-inch figures are much bigger than your O-ring. All right, so the modern 4-inch are much bigger, but I think that scales pretty well and looks pretty damn good. We'll take Crockmaster, and we'll give Crockmaster this gun here. I don't even know how I got a Crockmaster. This is one of those things you acquire stuff over time when you have as much stuff as I do. All right. He doesn't have nearly as much articulation as some of these others. I don't think he's going to be able to actually grab that. But you're able to hold it. It does look good. It's something different, and I think it scales pretty damn nice. And then here we are. Skeletron modern 4-inch Gary goggles. See, I'm not a big fan of these weapons. I do understand why they do it. But let's take this big sniper rifle. And let's see. Can they hold them? Do they look proper? And I gotta say, for a guy that's kind of like invisible or in this big suit, I think a sniper may work pretty damn well for him. So there you go. That's all the Delta 17 weapons. How they fit with specific figures. I think they look really good with these red shadows if you're into that type of stuff. This is probably my favorite, and I didn't even think about these that they were going to have it, because I have 2 other bats. I believe they have backpacks. They are not fully armored. I think one may even be missing a hand. I think one might actually be broken. Maybe we can figure something out there. But this actually works for me, because I think a lot of people are going to have bats that aren't fully armed. And this gives you something else that you can do with them. All right. The Skeletron, I think, works really well. I brought Stink Guys here. I decided not to mess with him. We'll deal with him later. But anyway, there you go. That's all the weapons. I think they look really good. Nice little pack. $7 on their site, which I will drop a link to it in the description. All right, so there you go. That is the Delta 17's weapons pack. What was it? WA1, I think. WP-1A. I like it. I don't think we can ever have enough weapons, although I keep telling Tony's Figs I have too many weapons. But it's always nice to have something different to change things out. 1/18 scale is completely different, okay? I've acquired so many over time, but one of the biggest things when it comes to these weapons is a lot of them don't fit in the O-ring figure's hands. These actually fit really good, and you don't have to worry about it maybe snapping an O-ring Joe's hand. And we know that's the bane of our existence when you're a collector with that stuff. These things are going to be worth more money because more thumbs and more crotches are going to break on these O-rings. So anyway, I think these actually fit really well. You kind of saw a demonstration using a plethora of different 1/18 scale. Oddly enough, I actually do collect 1/18 scale. Who knew? I was told I'm just a classified collector quite some time ago. That's not true. Anyway, I've given you enough. You stayed this long, so I'm going to ask you, please take a second. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you're notified every time I drop a Delta 17 review. But I'm going to get out of here, and you're like, you know what? I've never heard of this Delta 17. They make some pretty damn cool weapons. Do they make any figures? Well, they sure do. And right up here, I'm going to leave that Joe Fest 2-pack exclusive. And down here is going to be a playlist of all the other Delta 17 stuff that I've done. Take care.